Hello, today we're going to talk about multi-step equations with variables on both sides. All right, these are done the same way the other multi-step and everything was done. Just now the variables are on both sides, hence the name. So there's three keys that you have to remember every time. So the first thing you're always going to do is look to distribute. All right. You can see distribution because there's parentheses and some number in front of it that you need to multiply by. Here, we have no distribution, so we move on to our second step, which is combining like terms. So when I combine, you're combining like terms until you get to a one or two step equation, is what you're basically looking for. When I combine like terms, I like to combine the variables together first. So no distribution, we're combining our like terms. So since I want to do the variables first, I'm going to put a box around everything that's a variable. All right? So neither variable is on the same side, so that means I have to move it across the wall. This is done the same way as if you're just solving a regular equation. You treat it as a term. In the combine like terms section, you don't multiply or divide. All you do here is add and subtract them across the wall. So I'm going to move this 4x over here. So since it's negative 4x, I'm going to add 4x. You treat it just like your constants or your numbers. Whatever you do one side, you do the other side. So 1x plus 4x gives me 5x. Bring down everything that's left. And look to see if there's anything else I can combine into be like terms. There's not. On this side, I have a 5x and a 6, and now I just have a 16 on the other side. But now I'm at a two-step equation. So since I'm at a two-step equation, I can just go ahead and solve because I know how to solve two-step equations. All right, put a box around my variable, look at the furthest thing from it or the constant. I'm going to get rid of it by doing the opposite because I have to move it to the other side. 16 minus 6 is 10. Bring this down. Now I have a one-step equation. Multiplication's being done there, so I divide the 5 away. X equals 2. As long as you remember they're in combined like terms, you don't multiply or divide to get them across, because a lot of times someone will try to divide the 4 by both sides. That's not what you want to do. All right, here's example number 2. This one is something like the last one, except for there's no distribution. And now I have like terms that are on the same side first. If you go back to the first one, the like terms were on opposite sides. So the first thing since there's no distribution, I'm gonna go to combine like terms. And I'll stick with the colors to keep it. So this is a like term. So like I said before, I want to combine all of my variables first to my like terms, and then I'll handle all the numbers or constants that are left over. So these are on the same side. So since they're on the same side and I'm not going over the wall, that means I just combine them on this side. This would just be like if I had 5 plus 3. What is that? That's just 8. So 5 plus 3 gives me 8x. Bring down what's left over and bring down everything over here. Because it is just on this side, you combine them. Now, I see if I have like terms again, and I do, I have like variables. Now, I need to combine them across. To combine them across, I have to do the opposite operation anytime you go over this, or just do the opposite. So this is positive x. So to move the positive x, I'm gonna combine it with a negative x. All right, because what I do to one side, I do the other, and it gets rid of it. Bring down the negative 1, 8 minus 1x gives me 7x. Bring down the negative 8. And now we have our two-step equation, which is what we were trying to go to. So usually combining the variables does help this out to get it to its two-step. And now we solve. So then we add 8, negative 1 plus 8. So it's a negative and a positive, so I take the sign of larger, which is positive, and then I just subtract the smaller from the larger, and that gives me 7. So 7, 7x, divide by 7, x equals 1. If I plug it back in, that gives me 5 plus 3, which is 8. That gives me 0. Plug 1 in there, gives me 0. 0 equals 0. All right, example number 3. So this time, we go through our steps. Distribute. Do we have something to distribute this time? Yes. There's just a negative sign in front, though, is what most people say. That's actually a -1. It's just understood that the 1 is there. So you have to distribute that whole negative into the parentheses. So that gives me -1 times x, which is -x. Then I distribute it over here to the +4. So -1 times +4 gives me -4. Bring down the -4. Bring down the -8x. Now, do I have anything else to distribute? No, I do not have anything else to distribute, so I move on to combine like terms. I'm going to combine my variables first, like I always do. If you keep it consistent, you shouldn't have any issues. I keep saying it's like walking. Just do the same thing over and over and you're fine. All right, since I have numbers on this side and I don't have them on this side, I'm gonna move this to that side. But I have to do the opposite. So I have -x here. What's the opposite of -x? Positive x. Positive x. So that's -8 plus 1. The sign of the larger is negative. Then I do 8 minus 1, which is 7. So -7x. Those cancel out. And I bring this all down. All right. So now I have -4, -4. Is this a one-step equation or two-step? Technically, no, it's not, because I still have these like terms. This is when it's fine to keep combining like terms. Technically, it is a two-step, but I'm gonna combine these like terms now. So I bring down my -7x, then what's -4 minus 4? So anytime I have two negatives together, I end up with a negative, and then I just add. 4 plus 4 is 8. So here we go. We're down to a one-step equation, so now we solve. Divide by -7, divide by -7, x equals 8/7. Now I don't know if that's the right answer because I kind of made this up on the fly, so we're just gonna assume it is. All right, so this is our last example. This is a combination of all of it. First thing I'm looking to do is distribute, and I can distribute. Don't forget to put that negative with the 2 when you distribute. So I get -2 times 1, which gives me -2. Then -2 times -7x. Don't forget the negatives. And if you look at the triangle, all right, I have 2 negatives, so that gives me a positive left over, so that gives me +14x. People are still having trouble with integers. If you're having trouble with integers, there's a video for it. Bring this all down. 5x plus 34. Now since I distributed, I can go to combining like terms. I have no like terms on this side, I have no like terms on this side, so I'm gonna do my variables. All right? And because they're not on the other side, I have to move them to the other side. I'm gonna move the 5x over here. So if that's positive, I just have to subtract 5x. Subtract 5x. Bring down the -2. 14 minus 5 is positive 9x. Positive third. Oops. Bring that all the way down. Sorry about that. Gives me 34. Now I'm at a two-step equation. I'm not going to talk through the two-step equation. There's videos for it if you want to look at it. So I'm going to add 2, 36. Bring this down. 9x, divide by 9, divide by 9. X equals 4. And if I look at it, it's 54. That is correct. All right, this has been multi-step equations with variables on both sides. It's been a lot of examples, but there's a lot of different ways to do it. Hope it helps. Good luck.